How faithful is it, and to what extent were you obliged to be accurate in your portrayals?
It is a work of drama based on historical records. But I think at the core of it, um, is that we needed to, at its heart, present, I think, what our view of what happened, and our view of what history was. I think one of the first challenges that we had really was that there's so many conflicting records and texts about Burgos, so many conflicting records and texts about the Cavite Mutiny, and about Izquierdo, for example. So some historians argue that Burgos wrote the Manifesto of Los Filipinos. Other historians will say he didn't. Some historians will tell you that the Cavite Mutiny was just an uprising, not even an uprising, but just a protest of soldiers who were unhappy with the policies of Izquierdo. Others will tell you that no, it was actually a proto-revolutionary uprising in order to get rid of the control of Spain.
That particular point lang, I wanted to ask you also about, no? May connection ba talaga yung tatlong pare doon sa Cavite Mutiny sa palagay mo?
Throughout all these conflicting records and conflicting historical texts, we made the decision very early on to focus on the writings of Father Schumacher, one of our foremost historians, also Jesuit, taught at Ateneo. He had written a text called Cavite Mutiny Toward a Definitive History. And that's what we defaulted towards. So in that, he said that the priests did not have a direct involvement in the Cavite Mutiny, that others had, that there was the grumblings of the soldiers, that they were thinking already about ending the control, and that they were helped monetarily by these criollos. And it had laid out their plans in this text. So that's a text that we defaulted to. And that informed the script, basically. So yeah, we sort of had to make that call early on, because when you make a film, it has to, I think, present a story that's clear. We did have earlier drafts where all of those different competing narratives were explored, but then for me, it lacked an emotional it lacked an emotional line. So I made a decision very early on. Okay, we're sticking with Schumacher, and we're presenting this view of history.
His line was, ginamit lang yung Cavite Mutiny as like a reason to arrest these three priests, to kind of eliminate them as threats to the regime, to the Spanish regime, no?
The context of all that was because, and it says in the opening lines of the film, opening supers, that in Mexico, the revolution was led by a priest, Father Morelos. And I think that was the thinking behind Izquierdo. And that's the reason why napag-initan yung tatlo.